Shall we move on to Spartan?
Yes, we shall. 2004's Spartan. She's missing. Where is the girl? Yes, I'm glad you're here. I heard the TV and I came inside. I came inside and you weren't here. Why would you do that? Why would you leave the TV on? Where is the girl? You've had your whole life to prepare for this moment. Why aren't you ready? Where is the girl? I freaking love Spartan. I love it because it's Tom Clancy with Mamet dialogue, and that's all I really ask for in this life. I get to hear military speak with every possible extraneous syllable cast out. I get to see arms dispassionately broken in the pursuit of intel. I get to see people being shot in the head without knowing whether it's because of plot machinations or simply out of confusion arising from the fact that nobody can possibly understand a goddamn word that's coming out of Val Kilmer's mouth. Val Kilmer, who is, by the way, really great as a former Force Recon Master Gunnery Sergeant, whatever the one of those is. I think it's a soldier who gets to walk around talking like they're on methamphetamine, but looking like they're on PCP. Doesn't matter. His name is Bobby Scott. It's great. Where is the girl? Ostensibly involved in recruit selection, Smash Sneak Gun Hand Officer Scott is somewhat sidetracked by the kidnapping of a young college student who everybody in this film refuses to acknowledge as the president's daughter. Due to some recent creative choices in hairstyling on this young lady's part, it becomes apparent that her kidnappers, part of a sex trafficking operation, do not realise who they've taken. The problem is that when they do, there is but one likely outcome. Only this will not be a problem, as Scott has a knife, a gun, a particular set of skills, and a very definite affectation in his loose interpretation of conversation, courtesy of David Mamet. An affectation that means he gets to say things like, "You have to set your motherfucker to receive," instead of, "Listen." I love it. Where is the girl? By this point, we'd been through Alec Baldwin, Harrison Ford and Ben Affleck as incarnations of Jack Ryan, and the whole military intrigue and skullduggery genre looked like it was going to have to give way for Jason Bourne, so I'd have been sad to see it go entirely. What I wasn't expecting was for the King of Con to turn his hand to it, but clearly, I am glad he did. I find Spartan to be a really interesting movie for a number of reasons, not least in its attempt to marry high art with a more overtly steroid-fueled masculine genre that can quite often be the stomping ground of low-budget macho dreck. Not that Spartan doesn't have those moments. Scott's inquiry into a young female cadet's teaching of edged weapons leads to a rare line that could just as easily have come from the mouth of Steven Seagal as it does the pen of Mamet. The plotting isn't perhaps as solid as they come. There are a couple of sharks lining up in the hopes of one day being jumped, but Spartan never quite throws logic completely out the pram, even if it does skirt pretty close. That scarecrow on a pitchfork thing? Don't worry about it. What's important is that Spartan is unique. It is weird, and it was out there doing its thing in 2004 at a time when I desperately needed some comfort food in my life. I'm not going to make some foolhardy attempt at arguing this is the best movie we've spoken about tonight, but it is my favourite. She's in Dubai, by the way.
Yeah, this and the next one we speak of is slightly weird, and it is one of America's most respected playwrights turning his hand to genre filmmaking and having weird results that kind of work. I'm not quite so as effusive about it as you are, Craig, but I do like Spartan. I do like what it's trying to do. I do like the way that it's taken what is basically a whole bunch of genre tropes and run them through Mamet's dialogue process and come up with something that is just weird. It's a fascinating film to watch. I don't know if I'd say I wholeheartedly love it, but it's definitely a really interesting film to watch, given that, I mean, certainly if you come from the same arena that we have, baked in 80s action nonsense, and seeing it kind of filtered through Mamet's perspective has resulted in something that is kind of unique, and I do like it. I wouldn't say I love it. I'm not sure. That said, I don't have too many criticisms of it. I like Val Kilmer's weird performance in it. I like all the weird dialogue that's in it. I like the fact that it's just weird that it's like guys like God, his name's gone out of my head. I only can think of him as Al Bundy. When Al Bundy shows up,
Oh, is it Ed O'Neill or something?
Ed O'Neill, that's right, and various other characters of his returning roster of champions comes back just to have these kind of weird moments where it's like 24 filtered through some kind of abstract surrealist prism. And yeah. I think Spartan works. I'm certain that others on this podcast, I'm looking at you, Drew, will think that it doesn't. But for the most part, the fact that Mamet's dialogue is fused with, I think, serviceable genre standard thriller kind of works to interesting effects. It's certainly the most filmic of the films we've spoken about thus far. It's certainly not a film that you can imagine being a stage play. Whether it works completely as a film, I'm not sure, but it's really interesting to watch, so I'm happy enough for that respect. So yes, go for it.
I never get tired of coming back to this film.
Yeah, because of Craig's effusiveness for this film, this was the film in this episode, Glengarry said, because this is the one I'd already seen, that I was most looking forward to watching. And it's fine.
It's great.
It's fine. I enjoy
the best film.
But it's,
we've all agreed that it's the best.
It's David Mamet does Taken.
Yes. Yeah. Before Taken, to be fair.
And
but
it has, for me though, the same sort of problems I have with things like 24, which I find very entertaining. But the main character is a reprehensible, amoral criminal. Whereas
Hero.
Kiefer Sutherland is a dour and miserable person. Val Kilmer's incredibly entertaining, even though his character is a criminal, extrajudicial killings, killing people that he doesn't know are actually involved with any of this. So like, it's repugnant, but it's at least entertainingly repugnant. But it's fine. I genuinely really, really wanted to like this because of your enthusiasm, Craig, and I was really looking forward to this, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's David Mamet does Taken, okay. With a really, really stupid political conspiracy added onto it.
Again, this, as Scott pointed out, this predates Taken, but never mind.
Yeah, but it's basically the same story.
It's David Lynch does 24.
No, I'm not seeing that one at all. It's fine. Again, I'll never watch this again. I don't resent having seen it this one time. I found it passably enjoyable, but it's not special.
You didn't need those 2 hours anyway, Drew.
I mean, I've watched considerably worse films. I mean, again, there's always the danger of things having been built up, and I know how much you like this film, Craig, and I was kind of waiting for something really special. It's like,
I make no case for it.
I mean, it's not Oleana. Or House of Games, you know. I didn't hate it, but again, it's fine. And what I'm reminded of by watching this is like I really do like Val Kilmer.
I don't know why we ever let him sort of slide. Was it purely reputational that he sort of fell out of favour?
He is an absolute asshat in real life by all accounts. Although I wonder if, like, with age, he's mellowed a bit. Do you remember when cinemas were still a thing, but there was for several years those orange adverts?
Yeah.
Like, don't let a mobile phone ruin your movie. And he was in one of those where he was very much poking fun at his own persona. So I'm wondering at that point if he'd become aware of that and had kind of changed in real life.
Yeah, because he had a bit of fun with MacGruber and stuff as well, didn't he? But then he'd done Top Secret earlier in his career.
Yeah, but Top Secret's his first film, but Top Secret's amazing. It's so good. He's clearly got such a great comic turn. And I just watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang again just a couple of months ago, and it's amazing.
Gay
I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Yeah, he is so good at dry comic delivery, and there are bits of that in here. So. Yeah, it's he's the best thing about it by a country mile. And yes, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate for him, but like you, Scott, I see Ed O'Neill, I think Al Bundy. And I watched The Spanish Prisoner, and Ed O'Neill turns up and
it's definitely
Al Bundy's also in The Spanish Prisoner. Okay.
Yeah, it's not quite so egregious when he shows up in like Wayne's World because it's vaguely a similar character, but it's hard to suspend disbelief when he shows up in The Spanish Prisoner for sure. Yeah.
FBI agent, Al Bundy. And Spartan is
great.
Yeah, okay, Spartan is. Well, if I say it, will you? Well, I get a pass.
Yes.
It's fine. I say, don't.
He still can't bring himself.
Oh, because it's not true to say that.
Drew, bring yourself to be correct. Just say that it's great.
I can't even jokingly say it, Craig. No, it's fine.
We'll let you go. This can all end, Drew, anytime you want. You just have to say it's great.